Welcome back, everybody, to Spirit Plays more Spiral Knights. Before we begin, if you could please click the like button, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. I gotta switch my guns up because it's just gonna blow me out of the water if I don't do this right now. Anyway, got some Defender Elites here. That's awesome. Good to see you guys. Let's go now. Anyway, let's take a look at our gate real quick. I'm choosing the Ember Rook gate. Oh, also, before we begin, look down in the description and join my Discord. I made a Discord per request on somebody who just put a comment down there. I'm like, why not? We could talk about the theology, philosophy, etc., etc. But I chose this because 'tis the season for Tortodrones. These guys look like kind of like the baby penguins before they get all their feathers. Come on there, microphone, work with me here. So the guy's just sprouting. It looks like a flower that's about to bud. With this bog stuff. I'm also kind of looking around for I had like a paperweight thing here. Well, we're choosing this gate because there is one level down yonder. Maybe this one. But here, I am just one material short. Excuse me. One right here. Fiendish Glyphs. So I'm going to hope we get it. That way we can actually do the Tortodrones. It's been like a year or two, I think, since I even plugged myself into that madness. So besides that, we're just kind of, meandering through here. I'm back to work. You gotta work to live. That's the reality. That's why I was kind of against the stimulus check, but at the same time, I'm gonna partake because, believe it or not, no matter what you think, COVID did not shut down the economy. The government did. And come on, guys, let's go here. Let's go. So, regardless of your philosophy, that's just reality. So, because they shut it down, you should partake of. They basically ran like a Mack truck through your entire house, and you might as well just enjoy it, man. Take it. I literally went right to my savings account. Now we got like an extra month or two buffer, which is kind of nice. So, anyway, back to work. The guys all miss me there. If you didn't know, I was off for a couple days because my father passed away. And we'll go over that I'll talk about that in a bit, because there's something to be said about it. I have come from a divorced family, and if you get into it, I'm not all choked up about it. The Tears I Cried for the Man were years ago. I think I went over this a couple times before. I've told this story several times because people tend to listen to you per Fight Club, right? Because Fight Club was a pretty revolutionary movie. When people think you're gonna die. What actually did you do there, Mike? I don't think you did a whole lot. When people think that you're going to die, they tend to listen to you instead of waiting for the chance to speak. Because we all know that, like, the bookends of life are sacred. You have a child, that's amazing. Then they're like, welcome to hell and staying up for 3 or 4 days straight. Like, you're wherever they are and whatever they did, they passed away. I'm sorry for your loss. It's always hard to say an earthly goodbye. So you have to take that in context for what I'm going to say, because if you take out of context the messages of somebody who says loving somebody in your own way loses meaning after a while. If you don't, again, it's just like anything else. If you don't put an absolute to it, in my own way, loving my cat could be throwing him out the front door every time I go outside. That's not a good way to love. So, but obviously that's something we all can I lost both of them. They're gone. I had friends. They decided not to be friendly, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But here we are, all by ourselves. Well, where'd you come from? I'll pick them all up. I don't care. Can't stop me. So my brief history about myself. Parents are divorced. So when I came to time for me to, my wife was all about having kids. And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't we? That sounds awesome. It's like a next step in the maturity line. I honestly feel bad for people that have not, and the people who have not always feel bad for the people that do. Like, look at all your life you could be living, but at the same time, if you live a life that's completely self-ish, means the self cord goes toward itself. It's kind of like mutual masturbation of your life experiences. You might as well. You need somebody to share it with. Not only that, but you're given the greatest dignity to actually pour your life into somebody else. Is that it? There's got to be something up there. Am I going to do this? How do we get in there? Oh, we did it. We've discovered Utopia. It's just like an extra 20 crowns or something. That's okay. So the fondest memories I have of my dad are when he gets summer custody, right? I don't know how many, like, was it like 70% divorce rate in America? So the split custody is quite high, or the single parenthood is quite high. It depends how you look at it, because they are kind of the same thing. So my dad kind of didn't. He took us. He wanted us to be there, but then he didn't know what to do with us. So we'd schedule trips, but he'd be like, I always had to work. So memories I have of my dad: when you're a small person, when you're a young man, you tend to remember the greatness of your dad if you have one. So like, he was very strong. He actually took martial arts when he was younger before he began to smoke like a chimney, which eventually led to his death. Between, I think he had COPD, lung disease, cancer, COPD, heart disease, and a bunch of other stuff that was going on in his life. Oh my gosh, dude, where'd you come from? The rocks are alive. At least in this universe. So I didn't know he had that much wrong with him, and he always said like he didn't want to worry us or burden us, which is it's kind of weird because the definition of love. If you look and go for a common basis, I always go to scripture because it's the oldest consistent documentation we have on even concepts of love. Because you can say I love my car, that doesn't do love justice. It doesn't do mercy justice. Probably should take this. You know what I mean? Establishing definitions, it takes time to do this kind of stuff. Right? I do cherish the memory of my dad. I don't know exactly where he is. No man knows exactly what happens in the end. Only God knows this kind of stuff. We are given glimpses and basically told we are, we will not be removed from the consequences of our actions. But I remember my dad being strong, very broad shoulders, always wore a polo collared shirt, and always working. He smelled of acetone, alcohol, not because he drank. It's not Ace. Oh my gosh. Another Defender Elite. Dude, we seem to be getting a lot of them. That's okay though, man. But because he cleaned like machines, that was like his regular job. And besides that, he might be like, why are you spending all this energy? And I'll be like, you seen the energy cost? It's been like $6K. It's not that bad. Is he awake? Is he alert? He is. We got friends. It's not Ace. Hello. I'm over here. And if you... I sparred a 14-year-old kid who does heavy lifting in his spare time. Only 14, still punches harder than me. That's crazy. But they're slow, so there's like not a whole lot behind them. Kind of reminds me of that lumber. Because like, I keep forgetting that like 20 years of martial arts experience, it does actually help you. I'm like, especially when, ooh, I thought we killed him for a second. Can you just switch to the right weapon? There we are. But anyway, so he smelled of acetone. What else? He had a Zippo lighter because he smoked like crazy. So the Zippo lighter, I remember, always the flicking and the refueling it. And he's very earth conscious, thinking about the future of the earth. But at the same time, it's very difficult for me to, now that I'm looking back on this from like a philosophical standpoint, somebody who does not value their own life enough to save it for the next generation, but saying we should save the earth. I mean, death is inevitable. Is the earth eternal? Now we have it's like the Garden of Eden paradigm, right? Can I squeeze between you guys? Thank you. Where they, oh my gosh, he's got the grave. He actually has it. I forget what I was talking about. I'm just so blown away by a fellow grave lover. It just sounds weird when I say it like that. But anyway, I see. I feel you, cat. I feel you. I can. No. This comes after. There we go. We've got to get the correct weapon rotation. Spacebar switches everything. It's been spacebar for weapon switch since 2012. It'll probably stay that way till the end of time. Now this guy has an Acheron though, so can he be trusted? Yes, he can be trusted. We go this way first. Anyway, So I remember those things. Always working, eating one meal a day. After that meal a day, promptly going to the bathroom for like 3,000 hours, and expecting me to answer like the front gate as like a how old was I? 13-year-old. Yeah, just ask them questions and see what they need. I'm like, that's I'm a young man who's been raised by a mom, given like no responsibility whatsoever. I don't know how to talk to people. It's Anime Bay. Come on in. So I tried. Every time I tried to bring up a serious conversation with him, like I don't know, about death, philosophy, belief in God, that kind of thing. It's the cop out answer. Well, it is now, and I would plead with him over letters and email, like, come on, Dad, let's just talk about this stuff. He's like, yeah, you can never really know anything, son. So I can't. I don't even know where to begin. Like, Cat, you can't stand up here. Be on my lap or nowhere else. I respect you not clawing your way up my shorts, because that would be really really painful. Ba-boom. Well, apparently this guy's immune to the winter grave. At least the charge attack. That was interesting. Alright, I think we'll get the other stuff on the way back, just to accelerate the process. No, but death is regardless of where his eternal soul rests, it's always good to take a minute and reflect upon the bookends of life. It's always tough to say an earthly goodbye, every time. So I didn't find myself getting I took 2 days off to pray, to read, that kind of thing, but I honestly didn't find myself getting choked up until work today. I just thought about him working, my dad, and while I was there, and the life lessons he was trying to teach me. But I don't know if so here's the counter perspective, right? So he had his dad was an alcoholic, used to beat his mom. So I am by no means making excuses for anything, because the thing about life is that first off, you're your own life, you're your own choice. You get to choose which direction you go to. From there, I read books. How do I become a dad? What you know what I mean? Like, I don't really have a model example. I have my stepdad, but he doesn't really talk so much. It's just not his thing, talking. Boom. Oh my gosh, dude, get him. Mike, it's your time. Burn him up. Reese's Puffs. Burn him up. Anyway. So I respected my dad and his beliefs. I also mourn for the loss of his soul, as I don't think he's in a good spot. He lived his life based on his own rules. And this is where this is circling back around, right? When you love someone in your own way, one thing that's very tough, and my dad did this to me, and I don't even know if he knew any better, because he would always send birthday cards and stuff like that. But then he would, Cat, you can't. This cat has no rules of etiquette. He just does whatever he wants. Poops in sand. But one thing that's actually kind of traumatizing for a kid is expecting respect and expecting love and expecting duty and respecting honor when you're never there. And saying stuff like, I'm very disappointed in you because I always sent you letters and you never sent me one. Well, you're showing me love in your own way. And if you ever read a great book oh my gosh, I can't move. It's Minty's. I can't defend him. I don't know how to deal with those, and they're shocked. Anime Bay. Guys. Come on. Here we go. You know what? Go. Do not care. Take the damage. Right, what am I missing? 11 crowns and a pill? Okay. Alright, Anime Bay might have an issue coming through here, but I think in general we'll be okay. Just saved your life, Minties. And there goes the frame rate. Just reality, baby. Oh no! Yeah, I did love my dad, but I loved him in a semi-dutiful way and in my own way. Like when you put the bedrock of your belief system in Christ, and well, at the very least, something that transcends um, our personal abstract knowledge of things. You tend to get, like, this is where social values come in context, and are very important to have. So that way, if someone shows you love, you know exactly what they're doing. Nose itches. This cat's hair just right into my brain. Man down. Minties, come back. We got him. We got him. Imagine me and you and me. No matter how they toss the dice. God. It's so humid out here, the cat hair is literally sticking to my face. It's meant to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So when you think about the bookends of life, it is, you know, you can they were gone before I even unleashed my charge. You can say, like, the shallowness of a life, but then again, we you know, how can you be so callous when your own dad has fallen away? I don't think so. For those of you who have lost somebody, you understand. You could be a little bit. You can't separate people from the consequences of their actions, right? People are you can't take the other bookend of their life without reading the middle and say they were just an honorable soul and completely forget about everything they were in every other part of their life. Like, we're all fallen and we're all in need of help. My father included, myself included. I've said and done things that I regret and I wish I wasn't part of my life, but it is. So when you know, when God talks about eternity and salvation and all that stuff, He doesn't talk about forgetting. He talks about moving it as far as the east is from the west. We never lose that kind of you never lose part of yourself. And when we think about the life to come, will there be lack of sin in heaven, or rather on the new earth, depending upon your feeling of eschatology? It's not really going to be a thing. I can see this when just in a minor kind of way, my own little, you know, good spirited perspective. Yeah, I can see it because there are people, and you know these people, who live in a sea of pessimism. And if they're like, everything they say, even in jest, is pessimistic, and you're just like, I just want to get stuff done, or I just want to, you know, here's my goal. If you could just jump on that goal train, I'd appreciate it. Especially in the workforce, you could really see this. But children, you have to negotiate this stuff constantly. Like, I just want you to clean up your toys. You clean up your toys, you get some tech time. That's the rule. And they'll be like, oh, I don't want, and they'll fight with you on this tooth and nail. When the rule is, all you do is this one simple thing, and you get what you want. You work for your reward. You work so you can eat. This is the kind of concept you got to teach your kids as you grow up. And so I try that stuff. I do try. But the will is so stubborn even at a young age, especially when you have affluence and a lot of wealth, and a whole bunch of other stuff thrown into that mix. It gets very confusing. And the whole Black Lives, if you have not, you guys listen to this and you're, you know, feeling it, you should probably take a look at the Black Lives Matter website and see how they're all like that. It's a Marxist communistic philosophy. If you don't believe me, please go look. Oh my goodness, it is just absolutely mind-blowing. Here we go. We haven't done a little rat-tat-tat in a while, but it is mind-blowing. See, you're gonna hear some clicking. Sorry, but it is mind-blowing, right? Like it's full of empty slogans, right? Like Russia, breadbasket of the world. Yet they starved literally millions of their people. And it's I don't know. It's very educate yourself. This is I got my brother telling me that he trusts everything. He just goes by what the CDC says because they've spent their entire lives focusing on this. It's very difficult to have a conversation like that on the phone because that doesn't explain the morality of certain people, especially what their political allegiances now, and their natural philosophies in life, and how they change their mind, because you could never have absolutes in a relativistic science world. You're always learning, which is good, but at the same time, even a decent atheist will believe in there's absolutes. If you call yourself an atheist, that is positing that God does not exist. And at least if you stand to the point where absolutes are a thing, you have at least like a goal in mind. Without absolutes and you're just swimming in relativism, there's no goal. What is the point of the conversation? Because you could never amount to any kind of end game anyway. It's very confusing to me. This is the outworking of philosophy when you have and I'm really dissecting Bad Religion's new album because they are atheistic and they do believe in absolutes. I think Greg Graffin is a last I checked, he actually lectures on evolution, which I still don't know, but the evidence I see, the more I read, especially stuff that's like it gets rejected not because of the science, it gets rejected because of the ad hominem, because one professor, but like you say you're a Christian, this is a thing. You say you're a Christian or a believer in God, you can go pantheism or Muslim, and actually it sounds harsh, but if you say that, then you might get defunded because you believe in fairy tales and a sky daddy instead of just like a transcendent creator of the universe that had a grand purpose in mind to the point where he even gave you logic in your mind to reason through these things. Otherwise, what are you really trying to... what are you trying to prove? You really trust the chemicals in your mind to be truthful? How do you know? You don't know. It's an infinite skepticism right there. This is where it's how relativism is so appealing. By the way, the other thing I wanted to mention was like, back on the topic of success, specifically in America, and I would argue in the whole world, because I think this is on the Black Lives Matter website too, when they're talking about like things that are exclusively white, like the nuclear family, right? The father mother type of relationship. But this is where you get the evidence, the faith-based evidence, at least in my end. Statistically speaking, if you want to succeed in America, what you need is a mother and a father, like two family units, regardless of what your philosophies are. That's just the reality of it. So people can say, but sometimes that don't work. I had a guy tell me this. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I'm like, that's fine, but the reality is God gives us this paradigm to work with. He says, children are worth you working through your differences. Marriage is for your holiness, not your happiness. And they need the mother figure and the father figure. Don't deconstruct. Don't say there's no such thing as sex. Then there's no real reason for orientation. But we're all meant to mass produce by evolution. But we're supposed to pursue our own gratifications, which doesn't lead to production. Like, it's a whole convoluted mess, dude. Anyway. Did I even talk about the game once? Hey, there's our goal. Anyway, I think I'll do it for this one. I know it's short. Anything in here worth getting? Umbra Driver, Shiver Miss Buster. Oh, good. Anti-slime gear. I mean, it looks nice. Actually, this Sacred Falcon Shade Armor is pretty good. Shock bonus? But I can't even make an Akron, dude. I don't know what I'm really looking for here. There, we went over a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of it's controversial. I even had a student of mine saying, some of the stuff you talk about makes people uncomfortable. I'm like, good, let's bring it on again, go through this comfort zone. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching, guys. Enjoyed it. Click the like button, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Join the Discord, and I'll see you next time. Take care.